Residing in the quiet suburbs of New York is the ideal choice for people who wish to escape the rush and noise of the big city and enjoy a better quality of life. Several areas in Northeast Queens, such as Bayside, Douglaston, among others, which feature mostly one-family homes with ample land all around them, have been the ideal hubs for many New Yorkers over the years because they offer a sense of living in the countryside in a very unique and quiet environment. And the quality of life in Northeast Queens seems to be changing as residents are currently being burdened with ongoing and excessive airplane noise created by flights departing from LaGuardia Airport. On August 5th, we hosted with audience participation an interview and a discussion on the issue with State Senator Tony Avella of District 11 and Jerry Iannece, Chairman of Community Board 11 in Bayside, both of whom are already working on resolving this problem. We also reached out to the FAA and invited them to join a radio discussion, and since no one was available, we requested that they respond to our questions in writing. Instead, we received a standard statement which was read on the air. I contacted the FAA and I sent them the following questions, which I would like to read to you and to the audience, and then I will read to you their statement. Is it true that the FAA, including the other relevant authorities such as LaGuardia Airport and Port Authority, did not inform anyone, including the local authorities who represent the complainant, the residents of Bayside, such as the Community Board 11, local city and state elected officials, among other, about this new route? If indeed no one was informed, please let us know why they were not. Is this a temporary flight route or is this a permanent, and why was it established? If this is a permanent route, does the FAA plan to consider changing the route following these complaints? How fast is the FAA responding to this problem? What solution does the FAA propose, and when can residents expect any results? Does the FAA plan to hold any town hall meetings with the residents of Bayside to further resolve this issue? What is the message or promise that the FAA wishes to send to the affected residents of Bayside? When do you estimate that a representative can become available to speak on a radio program to further address the issue? And this is the response I got from the FAA.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Let me just bring Mr. Iannece on the line. Mr. Iannece, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay, you heard my questions to the FAA, right?
I have.
All right, let's hear what they wrote to me.
Okay.
FAA statement dated August 3rd to AKTINA FM radio. There has not been an increase in traffic departing LaGuardia. However, a departure procedure is being tested in which departing traffic turns left to the north of runway 13. The departure test will not exceed 6 months. Data collected from the test will be used to assess operational and environmental impacts. After the completion of the 6-month test, if the decision is made to pursue the use of the new procedure on a permanent basis, all comments received from the public during the test will be considered before an environmental determination is made.
That's basically the same type of response I
you receive.
Yeah, right.
It's like a standard.
But it's also a catch-22 situation. So nobody knows about this new test pattern, but meanwhile they expect people to comment on it.
Right.
So how is anybody going to comment if they don't know this test of a new air route is actually occurring? And I've been in touch with Jerry Iannece, the chairperson at Community Board 11. I'm in the process, along with him, to set up a meeting with the FAA in my office. Mm-hmm. But I think it's a real disgrace that they're testing this new route
without telling anybody,
and then expecting people to comment on it. Obviously, they don't want comment.
Obviously, but again, Mr. Iannece, I asked when was this established, when did it start, and when it will end, and they're talking about 6 months. But this has been going on for months now.
That's correct. First, let me say and commend the senator for being out there on so many issues, the rezoning issue, and everything else he discussed. I was listening to your program. He's a great senator, and I'm proud that he's my senator. And he's doing a great job, and I want to commend you too on a great show as well.
Thank you.
But in dealing with the FAA matter, yes, it's an outrage. It's been going on for quite some time. We've been getting dozens upon dozens of complaints of the traffic pattern going on. The response from the FAA is laughable. I have the senator's letter in front of me, and I commend him on it as well. But again, what you read was exactly the response that the senator got, and the exact response that we got on a community board level. And they need to be a little bit more proactive and a little bit more transparent, and they're not. And it's laughable, the response they're getting, and the senator is 100% correct. That they're not giving us an opportunity to respond, and they don't want us to respond in many ways. And they're sort of ramming it down our throat, and it's just wrong.
Yes. Let's take Mark from Bayside. Okay. Hello, Mark from Bayside.
Hello.
I
just wanted to comment on the airline.
The airplane. Yeah, and if you're sitting outside, we can all enjoy together the noise.
Well, I'm calling from Bayside right now, and there's a jet flying over as we speak. And
yeah, I know.
Several. I'm from Bayside too. Several just went over the last couple of minutes, so it's terrible.
Yeah, and they are, some of them are low and they're very loud, and I can tell you it's changed the quality of life here in our neighborhood. You can't necessarily go out for a barbecue because it's deafening, and there's been a marked change, and it's really alarming that the FAA or whomever is in control can just make a decision like that affects our lives.
And Elena, the crazy thing about it is now we're in the summer months. People are outside. They're trying to enjoy their backyards, go out in the park, and it's even worse. You would think that if you were going to try it, you'd try it when people are indoors more often. But it's just ridiculous. And Mike, I feel your pain. Like I said, I was sitting here in my house, and my house was shaking with the jets that were going over.
So, Senator, do you think we're going to be? I'm sure, Mark, have you called the senator? Did you fill out that form online?
No, I haven't, but I will go on the web and check it out.
Okay. Thank you very much for your call.
Thank you.
Another thing is a lot of the complaints that we received here is that, in the summertime, you want to keep your windows open and go to sleep instead of, and it helps you, not waste energy and have a high bill when you have your air conditioner running all night. And people are telling me I can't sleep with my window open. It's every 2 seconds the flights. So, do they have a fight?
I think, unfortunately, when you have to fight a federal agency like the FAA, the fight is usually very hard. But I think we have some very important grounds to fight on. One, they never alerted the community or the elected officials that they were testing a new flight pattern. So there's no opportunity for people to comment. So we'll contest anything that they've come up with thus far to saying you didn't give people a real opportunity to comment. And then we'll have to do our own reach, myself, my other elected officials, and the community board. Once we sit down with the FAA, and I'm really pushing for that meeting, they may be reluctant, but they have to do this. They absolutely have to do this. Now, the one thing that really concerns me is why, which usually the FAA does a good job of alerting the public, why they didn't in this case. Is it possible that this new route is taking away a route from someplace else in the state?
Favoring somebody else?
Right, some other part of the state complained, and there may have been some political influence. Well, let's do this new route, and let's give it to Whitestone, Bayside, etc.
Right.
So I think we really have to take a serious look at this and really fight. And I know my constituents. We're going to fight.
But just to comment on something that the senator said earlier, part of the problem is, and it's my fear, that several months ago at a borough board meeting, which is a meeting where all the chairs of the community board meet with the borough president, there was a study conducted, or at least information given to us about LaGuardia Airport as well as Kennedy. And the plans are that although they cannot increase the number of planes coming into LaGuardia because of the size of the airport, their plans are to increase the size of the planes because they want more people coming in. And I think this is the prelude to that. that they're testing this flight pattern because they want larger planes. And that concerns me because with larger planes comes larger noise. And the old pattern, which got it over commercial areas or over the Sound, which is a better route, was the better way of going. And this route right now brings it over directly over residences in Auburndale, Flushing, Bayside, and other parts of our community. And it's just wrong. And I'm proud of the president, the senator, for being vigilant on this, and we're with them, and we're going to do whatever it takes to make sure that they don't go any further with this.
Okay, it's Nikos from Bayside. Hello, Nico from Bayside.
Hi, yes, it's
Good. In English, please. Go ahead.
Well, I'm actually a resident. I can tell you, I do hear the planes. I've been a resident of Bayside for 4 years, so obviously, when planes start flying over, the solitude breaks. But one thing that that was said that I actually find more disturbing than the noise is that LaGuardia, I mean, I can't believe that they're actually thinking of bringing bigger planes in on the short runways that they already have.
Yeah, that was brought up at a borough board meeting maybe 6 months ago, that they're trying to increase the usage for both Kennedy and LaGuardia. Clearly, LaGuardia, because it's a small airport, it's working at capacity now. So the only way they're going to be able to deal with more passengers is by coming in with larger planes. But they feel that the technology and the way they're flown, that they'll be able to get them in, even though they're shorter runways. I share your concern. I think it's wrong, and all of us on the borough board level really put their feet to the fire and really questioned it. But to me, that's the overall long-range plan. And I think we need to get our ducks in line to make sure that whatever they do, first of all, is safe, and secondly, that it doesn't cause us any more issues like we're having now with the noise overhead.
Well, let me just add. To the conversation, and Nico also, is the fact that if the communities, Senator Avella and Mr. Iannece and Nico, if the community does not come together right now and act, they're going to lose the fight.
Oh, right. Absolutely. And it'll only get worse.
They're going to lose the fight. If every resident of Bayside, Flushing, and the affected areas should take a moment and write a letter to State Senator Avella, call the borough, the community board. If you don't have internet access and you don't know how to use computers, just make that phone call. At least your name is registered as a complainant. Because if you don't, you're going to live with this for the rest of your lives.
Oh, I certainly will be joining the fight there. But I would also like to mention to the other side, I mean, I think that the Pilots Association actually needs to be aware of this, because, I mean, there are, like, safety concerns here. I mean, I don't see the technology on planes.
Right.
I mean, you can't land a large jet like that on a 7,000-foot runway.
Yeah. I have a cousin who's a pilot who told me that flying into LaGuardia is like landing on an aircraft carrier. It's surrounded by water on all sides, and they have to fly in high and then drop down very quickly, and it's dangerous. It's amazing that we don't have more accidents there. So I agree with you. And we're only as strong as the people behind us, so that when we phone into our state senator's office and we support him like we have, it makes him more powerful and stronger and speak for us a lot more effectively. The same goes for the community board. So I agree with you, Elena. We need to get behind our state senator and get behind our community board and get everything together.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things we all have to recognize, this is the beginning of the fight.
Yes, it is.
Because, again, the FAA was keeping this secret. So we're just beginning.
And I'm going to share a big secret with everybody in a few seconds right now. A similar secret. And it's been kept under the rug for the longest time, Nico. There's a similar situation going on with the JFK, and the residents that are affected from those flights have come together. Not only they've come together, they have created their own website, and they are bringing a lawsuit against the Port Authority. And the Port Authority is terrified. So if we have to do the same, we'll do the same.
It's unfortunate, but this seems to be the norm now, where to get satisfaction from our own government, we usually have to sue.
I mean, it's
pretty
ridiculous.
Sad commentary, but that's probably what we'll have to do.